You are staring at a reflection in a dark window, and for the first time in a long time, you don't recognize the man looking back. It isn't that you've changed physically, it's that the version of you in your head has become so much more vivid than the one actually standing in the room. You carry this heavy, invisible weight of potential around, like a trophy you haven't earned yet. In your mind, you are a lion, a creator, a man of impact, and iron discipline. But in reality, you are someone who spent 4 hours scrolling through a screen because the thought of starting your real work felt too heavy to lift. You are caught in the most painful trap a man can inhabit, the gap between who you know you could be and who you are actually being. If this internal friction is something you wake up with every single morning, you should know that you aren't alone in this silence. Before we go deeper into why your mind is doing this to you, if you find this reflection helpful, consider subscribing and hitting the like button. It helps this message reach the others who are currently stuck in the same loop. Most people look at a man like you and see laziness, but they couldn't be more wrong. Laziness is a lack of desire, but you are overflowing with desire. It's just that your desire has no place to go. You aren't apathetic. You are internally jammed, like a high-performance engine trying to run while the brakes are fully engaged. You have spent years sharpening your mind, reading the books, and watching the videos, preparing for a battle that you never actually join. You've become a professional student of your own potential, researching the perfect life while the actual years of your youth are quietly slipping through your fingers. The truth is that your intelligence has become your most effective hiding place. You use your ability to see the big picture as a reason to avoid the small, boring, embarrassing steps of a real beginning. You think you are being discerning or strategic by waiting for the perfect moment, but you are actually just terrified of being measured. As long as you don't start, your potential remains perfect, untarnished, and infinite. The moment you take a real action, you become a beginner, and being a beginner is a direct threat to the exceptional person you've imagined yourself to be. You would rather stay a great mystery than risk becoming a visible amateur. Your mind has convinced you that one day is a real place on a map, but one day is just the graveyard where most men bury their best versions. Think about the way you feel when you see someone else, someone less talented, less deep than you, succeeding in the world. It creates a specific kind of bitterness in your gut that you don't like to admit to. It's not that you hate their success. It's that their movement exposes your stillness. They are out there making mistakes and being seen, while you are in here, perfectly stagnant and completely invisible. You tell yourself you're waiting for clarity, as if clarity is something that drops out of the sky like a lightning bolt. But clarity is a byproduct of movement. It is the reward you get for having the courage to walk into the fog. You are waiting to feel ready, but ready is a lie your brain tells you to keep you safe from the discomfort of growth. You have been protecting your ego at the expense of your soul for so long that you've forgotten how to trust your own hands. Every time you set an alarm for 6 a.m. and snooze it until 9, a small part of your self-respect dies. Every time you promise yourself that Monday is the day and then spend Monday in a daze of distraction, the internal rift grows wider. You are becoming a stranger to yourself, someone whose word means nothing to the man in the mirror. This is the psychology of the unrealized, where the pain of your potential becomes a ghost that haunts every room you enter. You spend your nights analyzing your childhood, your traumas, and your personality type, hoping that insight will finally unlock the door. You've become a world-class observer of your own paralysis, able to describe your stuckness in beautiful, intellectual terms. But you cannot think your way out of a hole that you dug with your own inaction. Self-awareness is a wonderful tool, but when used as a substitute for behavior, it becomes just another form of sophisticated stalling. You don't need another realization. You need a confrontation with the reality of your current choices. You are using your potential as a psychological cushion to soften the blow of your current stagnation. You tell yourself, I could be great if I really tried, and that thought makes you feel better about the fact that you aren't trying at all. It is an ego defense mechanism designed to protect you from the humility of being a nobody who is trying to become a somebody. The world doesn't care about what you could do. The world only responds to what you actually do. You have been worshiping the future you, while neglecting the current you. who is the only one capable of making the future real. The future you is a fantasy. The current you is the one who has to deal with the messy, unglamorous work of the next 10 minutes. If you are feeling a sense of heaviness right now, I want you to lean into it, because that heaviness is the weight of the truth. You are not a bad person, and you are not fundamentally broken. You have simply fallen in love with a version of yourself that doesn't exist yet, and you've used that love to justify avoiding the person who does. You are caught in a loop where the cost of entry for your life feels too high because you've waited so long to pay it. But the price of entry only goes up the longer you stand outside the door. The shame you feel isn't there to crush you. It's there to remind you that your standards are still alive. The fact that you are frustrated is the best news you could receive today, because it means you haven't given up on yourself yet. The man who is truly lost doesn't feel the friction. He just drifts. Your friction is proof that there is still a fire burning inside that engine, even if it's currently idling in the dark. You are not behind in life, because life is not a race against other men. It is a negotiation between you and your own capacity. You have been operating under the assumption that you need to fix your mind before you can fix your life. But the most effective way to fix your mind is to move your body in a direction that your mind is afraid of. Stop asking for a map and start looking for a compass. A map tells you where everything is, but a compass only tells you which way is forward. You don't need to see the finish line to take the first step. You just need to know that the step you are taking is real. Accept the fact that your first attempts will be mediocre, uninspired, and perhaps even embarrassing. Accept that you will not feel like a lion for a very long time. You will feel like a man who is tired and uncertain. Kill the great man in your head so that the real man in the room can finally breathe. The tragedy of potential is that it is a debt that earns interest. The longer you don't pay it, the more it consumes you. But the moment you make even the smallest payment, the moment you do 1 hour of honest work, the debt begins to shrink. Self-respect is built in the small, invisible moments where you choose the difficult yes over the easy no. It is built when you do the thing you said you would do, even when the motivation has evaporated and the room is cold. You are not waiting for a sign. You are the sign. Your life is not a dress rehearsal for a later performance. This is the performance, and the curtain has been up for years. The most profound shift you can make is to stop identifying as a person with potential and start identifying as a person who practices. Potential is a static, dead thing. Practice is a living, breathing movement. When you focus on practice, you give yourself permission to be imperfect, because practice is allowed to be messy. You stop worrying about whether you are the best and start focusing on whether you are present. The man you want to become is not waiting for you at the end of a long journey. He is created by the very journey itself. He is forged in the boredom, the repetition, and the quiet resilience of the days when nothing seems to be happening. The unrealized self is a ghost that will only stop haunting you when you give him a body through your actions. You have all the intelligence you need. Now you need the courage to be seen as someone who is simply trying. Put down the weight of your expectations and pick up the tools of your trade. The world doesn't need your perfection. It needs your participation. As we close this out, I want you to think about one specific area of your life where you have been hiding behind your potential. What is the one thing you know you should have started a year ago, but you're still researching today? I want to hear about it in the comments, not as a confession of failure, but as a public declaration that you are done waiting. Share what you are committing to move on, even if it's small, even if it's messy. Let's use the comments as a place to ground these thoughts into reality. The silence ends when you speak, and the paralysis ends when you move. Go do the thing you're afraid to be average at. I'll see you in the next one.